Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market recap and update for Wednesday, May the 17th. We have a short week this week. Friday is a holiday, Good Friday, and so we will wrap up things tomorrow. So let's jump in here and look, of course, at the S&P. We'll start there, and what we see is a whole lot of nothing, really. I've got our voodoo lines up here, and the blue one is the skyline. We came down, touched it here, kind of chopped around. We actually broke through it here, which I thought at the time, could open the door to some further downside. And then we kind of bounced off that, and so far so good. And again, kind of really choppy this whole week. We have had quite a few earnings come out. Of course, we had Netflix yesterday, and IBM and CSX, and a handful of other, banks, Morgan Stanley, and so forth. But so far we're just kind of in limbo here. Now let me back this up a little bit to the last 5 days, and looks a little more. Let me put my voodoo lines back up there. So again, chop, 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 chop here. This is, Friday. We gap up above the skyline here, and then we chop, 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 kind of touched it there. Little gap up. It's been the pattern. We gap up and then kind of fade, gap up, kind of fade, gap up, kind of fade. This morning, gap up, kind of fade. So that is not very impressive, as we are just a stone's throw away from the all-time high there at 29.40, which you can see right here. Now we do have a big snow line up here, and of course that's the all-time high. Is right there. So it's pretty interesting that we have not been able to easily reach up there and touch it, because I've thought we could reach up there at any point in time and touch it, and we just have not. Now that kind of leads me to a weaker market, looking like a weaker market. But at the same time, remember, next week we've got a lot of the big name earnings. We're going to be reporting next week and the week after. The next several weeks, we've got Apple, Amazon, Google. All of the big names are going to be reporting coming up. So I don't think that we go into this downward spiral here anytime soon ahead of all those earnings. One thing that's weighing very heavily on the market, of course, is healthcare sector. It's just been pummeled, and I am starting to get a little more interested in some opportunity there and some of the names, perhaps. But we need to keep an eye on it. And also, if you remember from the last update I did, if we're looking at the rut here, let's go on a larger time frame. And I'm looking at this. Of course, it looks pretty good, but we fail there, fail there, fail there, fail there, fail there. And I said the rut is leading, could lead the other indexes if indeed it does start to roll over. And to me, if you kind of squint and turn your head sideways a little bit, that's kind of what it looks like is happening here. Too early to tell, but the rut let us down first. And of course, we want to watch all the other things as well. Bond market, credit markets, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not calling a top whatsoever here at all. I'm just saying that we have been on our toes lately, and we need to continue to be on our toes. In fact, let me clean this up just a little bit here. Take those voodoo lines off, and you can see that's the 200-day moving average that we just can't seem to get. We got over it. I mean, technically we got over it, but we went above it, immediately came back down below it. The rut was down 20 points at one point today, and it ended up closing down about 16. So not a very strong showing. However, at the same time, here is the NASDAQ that hit a new all-time high today. It took out the prior top there today, and that was Probably in part to do with Apple was up about 2% today on resolution of some legal things and a worldwide legal settlement, Amazon, so forth, and probably in the anticipation of next week with the big earnings coming out. So, again, the market is the divergence is starting to happen, and no way to tell which way it goes. Does the rut get back in line and start coming up, or does the Nasdaq kind of roll over and follow the rut, and then the S&P follows the Nasdaq? So I don't know. We're kind of in limbo. I remain very pretty light, trying to play this on shorter time frames and all that. But again, at this point, it is hold on and kind of wait and watch mode, because we are starting to get in some, in another 30, 40 points, in the S&P, we'll be in some truly uncharted waters. So be careful out there, right? So with that, stay light on your number of trades that you can manage, and stay on top of them, because this is getting interesting. We got earnings the next couple of weeks, and depending on what happens through those earnings seasons, if they're all positive or all negative, in reality there'll be a mix, but we could get a lot more direction out of this market, and a lot faster too. So again, be careful, trade smaller size, and it should be fun. So hope this helps, and I'll see you guys at the next update. Thanks.